But let's go on ahead and get to these preview segments. And I want to start off with the New England Patriots as they face off against the Seattle Seahawks. Pardon me. Colby, talk to me about your prediction. Nice little analysis. What do we got?
Yeah, so look, obviously the Patriots are playing the Seattle Seahawks this week. The Seattle Seahawks were able to come back from behind last week. I mean, just like really a lot of teams did, playing up against the Denver Broncos. Now, Denver Broncos, they're going to have a much better offensive line than the Patriots. All right, let's not forget that. But the Patriots are also going to be going up against a much better defense in this game than what they went up against with the Bengals. Bengals have a great defense. They have a really good defensive line. Trey Hendrickson, 17, 18 sacks last season, one of the best edge defenders in the league. No doubt about it. But this is definitely going to be another battle for the Patriots. Before I did my record predictions when the season started, I said that the Patriots were probably going to lose this game. I think there's a lot of parallels. I really, really do think that there are a lot of parallels for the New England Patriots in this game with the Seattle Seahawks. This is also going to be the Patriots' home opener. And one thing I will say is that I have not seen the vibes this amazing, this immaculate in New England for years and years and years. And I truly do mean that. I'm not trying to be biased or hype up anything that's not there. If y'all saw the post-game streams there for the Patriots, Jabril Peppers going into the tunnel, this is what we do, screaming like they said even before the game. They hear all the noise and they're using that as motivation. You know, they want to spoil teams this upcoming season. They understand they're underdogs in every single game this upcoming season, and they are using that as motivation. You know, Gerard Mayo getting his first win as a New England Patriot on the road against Cincinnati, which is a very hard team to play, a very hard stadium to play. Those fans in Cincinnati are diehard. But Gerard Mayo, first win as a head coach, and he gets like that ice bucket, that Gatorade rather dumped up on him afterwards. I mean, go ahead and check on my Twitter. I don't want us to get copyrighted, but they were very, very hyped up in the locker room, getting emotional. The head coach was not the head coach, but the owner was getting emotional because they understand the noise. And I think that they're going to use that as motivation. I'm someone who personally believes that the mental side and the motivational side is sometimes just as important, if not more important, than the physical side, than just having the best roster on paper. I think that if you have a team playing as a true unit, playing for the teammates to their left and towards their right, I believe that that is just as important, if not more important, than having an elite roster. And that can really carry you. Look at Dan Campbell. Look at what he was able to do with the Detroit Lions. Now, the Detroit Lions now finally have a good roster that they've finally built up really in like the last year, maybe 2 years, but they didn't start that way. And the reason that team came together, they started to win games and they became a destination that people wanted to go to, was because of Dan Campbell, making sure that they were a family. And Gerard Mayo saying after that win against Cincinnati that, you know, we could not be here without you guys. He was giving credit to the players. He was giving love to the players, saying that they are nothing. These coaches are nothing without the players. And because of that, the players want to win. They want to play for Gerard Mayo. And unfortunately, the truth of the matter is that it's something that they didn't have under Belichick. The coaching style that Bill Belichick had is the same reason that Pete Carroll is not a head coach in the NFL anymore. And that is that, and I hate to say it, but like the military style of way, that's how it's referred to. Hard love. Players don't respond well to that coming out of the collegiate level. Today's day and age of the NFL, you look at the best head coaches, they are players' coaches. And that's exactly what Gerard Mayo was trying to do. And I think that that motivation is going to carry them into this game. But I'd be lying if I told you it wasn't going to be tough. Obviously, McDonald, he's a former defensive coordinator for the Ravens. So you know that his defense is going to be good. One thing that I think the Patriots have going for them, though, is the injury side of things. Injury report that came out today here on Wednesday, so keep that in mind. City Soap for the Patriots did not practice. Everybody else was a limited participant, so they'll probably play. Ramondre Stevenson didn't participate today, but he was just getting rest. There wasn't any type of injury, just getting rest. But Antonio Gibson, Vidarian Lowe, a couple of their other pieces, a little banged up, but again, just limited participants. On the other side, the Seattle Seahawks have really a 2-page paper on guys that are banged up here. Kenneth Walker, their star running back, dealing with an oblique injury. He didn't participate. George Fant, their offensive tackle, dealing with a knee injury, did not participate. Edge rusher did not participate. Tyler Lockett, limited participation. Noah Fant, limited participation. Farrell Brown, limited participation. Jerome Baker, some of their top players are limited, and now they're going to be going on the road in New England with a souped-up, hype Patriots team. So I think the name of the game for the Patriots is going to be running the ball, just like it was last week. Now, that Seattle Seahawks defense, they were able to get a couple turnovers on Bo Nix. The thing that is going to be different for them in this game is that they're going up against veterans now. They were able to take advantage of the rookie's first regular season game. They're not going to do that here. If the Seattle Seahawks are going to win this game, they are going to have to force the Patriots offense to turn the ball over. If they do that once, twice, multiple times, the more turnovers they get, the more I do fear that the Seattle Seahawks will be able to come out with this win. But if the Patriots are able to run the ball efficiently, by the way, Ramondre Stevenson had the most forced missed tackles in the NFL from a running back last week. Not just that, also, he had the most yards after contact in the National Football League last week. So yes, the Patriots offensive line is bad, but it doesn't matter. Even when the Bengals knew the Patriots were going to run the ball, they sent the absolute house at New England, and Ramondre Stevenson still able to pick up first down, still able to average 5 yards there, even on that final offensive drive. So I think as long as the Patriots can run the ball efficiently, they can play dominant defense, force a couple of turnovers, and just don't turn the ball over offensively, I think they're going to come out with this win. Again, I will just say this one last time, before the season started, I did say the Patriots were going to lose this game, but with the momentum they have coming in from week 1, and right now they're undefeated, I feel like I would be a fool and not a real fan if I didn't pick my team to win this game. At home, by the way. You guys there? Dan? I think you're on mute there, buddy.
So for this game, I think I'll say that I think this game is almost a lock for the +3.5. I think this game is going to be very, very close. The one thing is that the Seattle Seahawks probably had the most impressive defensive performance out of any team in the NFL. Shout out to Mike McDonald, and granted, it was against a rookie quarterback in Bo Nix and a Denver Broncos team that is still very much struggling trying to find their identity. I don't see Ramondre Stevenson having as good of a game against Seattle as he did versus the Cincinnati Bengals. And that offensive line is still a bit of a liability in my eyes. Now, I do think when it comes into it, I think that Geno is not as much of a threat as far as Joe Burrow, obviously. But I still see them being able to make a couple of plays. I could see the New England Patriots being able to take the ball away maybe a couple of times here and there. But with all of the weapons that they have on that team by itself, I'm going to go with Seattle, but it's going to be really close. It's going to be like a field goal.
Yeah, one more thing, Dan, I do want to say too is that, like you said, Geno Smith, not as good of a quarterback. He's a little bit more dual threat because he has mobility, and that's something the Patriots are going to have to keep in mind. I don't think that defensive line can just pin their ears back and go straight for the quarterback, but Patriots had the best run defense in the National Football League last year. They clearly were able to keep that up here against Zach Moss and company against the Bengals, so I still believe in them there. I believe they'll take away the running game. I believe Christian Gonzalez is going to shut down DK Metcalf. You have Jonathan Jones going up against Tyler Lockett. Obviously, Jonathan Jones being the second highest graded cornerback from week 1. I feel confident in that. I mean, they're basically going to say that Geno Smith is either going to have to beat the Patriots with Jackson Smith and Najigba, or Kenneth Walker dealing with an injury is going to have to somehow make magic. And I think that's how, if they're able to get that going, then they'll win. But it's going to be a lot easier said than done.
Kenneth Walker better dance out there as my fantasy running back.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Not a good week for him then, buddy. Not a good week to put him in.
I'm gonna say this, Kobe. Y'all got a chance to win this game. I don't think you're gonna win the game, but y'all got a chance. And I'm telling you, if y'all win this game, bro, y'all a different team. Everything has to be reevaluated because this is the perfect team to gauge yourself off of, because I love what they're doing on defense. So they're gonna make it hard for your offense. But your defense is truly going to be tested in this game to see if they could do what they did to Burrow, to Seattle, and Geno. And if they are able to stop that run or slow it down and stay in the game and somehow eke out a win, the Patriots are scary this year. They are like absolutely terrifying if y'all do that. And I could actually see a world where that happens. Now, I'm not going to pick it to happen, but I can see a world where it actually happens. I got Seahawks in this game, edging you guys out barely, but getting more points, like in the third quarter where it's a tight game, but in the third quarter, you guys make that mistake first. Because, again, I just don't trust Jacoby Brissett. At the end of the day, he didn't kill the game, but I just don't trust him because eventually he will have some issues. But we'll see what ends up happening. I think it's going to start in the end with the O-line. The more protection you can give Brissett, the more chance you got of him making a play. So time will tell. I'm going Seahawks in this, but barely. And I'm going to do a score of 20-17.
20-17. So you do think that the Patriots are going to have just slightly, they scored 16 points last week. So I think they're going to have a little bit of a better game offensively here.
I think that you all will find a few plays because this is week 2. You played a big time team and it takes away any concerns from you. You start to feel a little confident, so you start to be a little looser. But I actually think your defense is going to score.
Ooh, I like that. Richie?
Yeah, so I'm looking at the lines on BetUS, and I see that the New England Patriots are 3.5-point underdogs in their own home stadium. Now, again, guys, want to remind you folks that this show is being powered by BetUS Sportsbook, the #1 online sportsbook. You guys can get a 150% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits now, not 125 anymore, 150 by using promo code YouTube150. Guys, if you do not sign up for BetUS by now, I don't know what you're waiting for, folks. It's the #1 online sportsbook, fast payouts, quick, easy. You get your own personal customer service bot that you can type and talk to. You can call them on the phone. They got the player prop bets. They got it all, folks. So shout out to BetUS for powering today's show. And all the odds we talk about is powered by BetUS. So you see the odds for the Patriots at plus 3.5 and the over-unders at 38. That's an ugly line. That tells me that it's going to be an ugly defensive battle, a low-scoring type of game. I do think that this is going to actually hit the over, just because of how low of the number it is. Now, I think that, the Patriots being underdogs in this game at home after winning, it's definitely interesting. I could see why, but I do think that, taking the Patriots at plus 3.5 would be smart in this move just because they were able to keep it close with the Bengals and win the game against the Bengals, not just to keep it close, obviously. They limited them. And like me watching that Patriots-Bengals game, it was just like, I was just waiting for Joe Burrow to break through. I was waiting for them to make, become an actual offense like we've seen Joe Burrow and that offense do time and time again. But that Patriots defense, they just make plays. I mean, you talk about forcing the fumble at the goal line. You talk about just getting to the QB. Even when Joe Burrow had time, he had nobody open down the field. So I feel like in this game, I'm really, really curious to see how the secondary for the Patriots match up against the Seahawks wide receivers. That's the matchup I'm looking forward to the most. DK Metcalf is still a very big-time threat that you got to be able to game plan against. I think it's going to be fun to watch. Gonzalez against DK. Can't forget about JSN either. Tyler Lockett remains to be one of the most underrated receivers that's just good every year. He just produces. He's just no one talks about Lockett, but he just puts up numbers and just is the reliable type of player, man. So I think that's the matchup I'm watching. You guys know I have a soft spot for Geno Smith. I always will. I mean, I wanted him that draft, and we got him, and I'll be rooting for him in Seattle. And I think that, this could be the Seahawks' year to squeak back into the playoffs, right? They did it 2 years ago. Last year was a disappointment for them. I like, the post-Pete Carroll era for them as a coaching standpoint. And it's going to be tough for Seattle. They got to go on the road across the country to Foxborough. Foxborough was a tough place to play in the Bill Belichick era. This is the first time for Gerard Mayo to see what it's like, coming off a win. I'm sure that the crowd is going to be juiced up. And the thing about the Patriots that I'm finding interesting is there's a new swagger. There's a new freshness to that team that Patriots fans are probably shell-shocked about just because they're used to, Bill Belichick. It feels more loose. It feels more free that they can express themselves. It feels like, I was really moved by what Jacoby Brissett said post-game about what Gerard Mayo had to tell him, that he just boosted his confidence up, and Brissett said he's never had a coach that really did that before. So I think Mayo really showed me a lot in that first game. So we shall see. I'm not going to pick the Patriots to win just yet. I got to see a little bit more. I think I did say before the season started that the Patriots are going to win some games that nobody predict them to do it. And they did that. They did that in week 1. I think they have a chance to do it again. I think this is a winnable game for them. If they run the football with Stevenson and they shut down the Seahawks, then they have a chance. With Kenneth Walker being hurt with an abdominal injury, you could play through that. I think he's going to play, but that's going to be a tough situation for Kenneth Walker to kind of play as good as he did last week. So I think it's going to be a close game. I think that the Seahawks will win by a field goal, and the Patriots will cover that plus 3.5. But this is your chance. You have a chance to actually pull off another upset at home and go up 2-0 before you have to go to MetLife for Thursday Night Football the week after. And if that's the case, like if the Patriots win this game and they're 2-0 and the Jets hopefully win against the Titans and it's 2-0 Patriots versus 1-1 Jets, bro, that game just levels up the sweepstakes. Like that would be ridiculous, that game for the Jets and the Patriots, because the Patriots will have a chance to just like go up 3-0 on or something. That would be nuts. So I'm going to take the Seahawks in this game just because I actually believe in that team a lot this year, and I believe in what they got cooked up on that side of the ball. And I just need to see a little bit more from the Patriots before I start picking them to win.
Respect. What was your score prediction there, Rich?
I think it's going to be like a little more high scoring. I see it like a weird like 25-22. There's going to be a safety involved. There's going to be a missed point after. Like it's going to be one of those like, oh, you're going to go for 2 and you don't get it. I think it's going to be one of those types of games.
He's calling.
Okay, yeah. So I think it's going to be a defensive-minded game. Me personally, I know I forgot to give my score prediction, so I'm going to go 10-13 Patriots. I think that the Patriots have a better defense than the Broncos. I think it's going to be low scoring. I think the Patriots score a little less. I think the Hawks score a little less than they did, and it comes down to a field goal. Very close game, like you guys said. That's how the Patriots are going to play games. That's how they're going to win. It's going to be close.
Y'all going to beat the Jets, by the way. Anyway. What's next, Dan?
That's you wanting to happen, not you believing.
That's going to happen.
What is next? Next is going to be the New York Jets and the Tennessee Titans.
I'm terrified because the Titans are loaded.
Yep.
And the Titans are loaded, indeed. Yeah, Richie, go on ahead and give us your preview prediction. A hopeful bounce back game for the New York Jets, Aaron Rodgers and company. Talk to us.
Yeah, I mean, listen, this is definitely the bounce back game, but I do not want anybody to think that this Titans team is just like a team that we're, as a fan base, expecting to go in there and steamroll. They did not give up one offensive touchdown as a defense, and the one thing that's sparking fear in us Jets fans is their running game. They have a very good offensive line coach. They have a really good scheme running the football. They got Tony Pollard and Tyjae Spears. And we just saw what happened last week with the Jets. We got ran all over the place. It's a short week for the Jets. We're on the road again. So those are some things I'm concerned about as a Jets fan, because the path for victory for the Titans is to try to replicate what the 49ers do. If I'm the Titans, I do not throw that ball with Will Levis. I mean, he's a turnover waiting to happen. So it's up to the New York Jets to force Will Levis to throw the ball by plugging up the holes, stacking the box, and forcing those third and long opportunities, and we got to get our pass rush. So this is a physical unit, a team that is definitely going to be prepared because they felt like they left an opportunity to win a football game in week 1 on there with the way that they lost that Chicago game. But this is a game, and I'm looking at the New York Jets, bro. You have to win this game, and you have to prove to be the better football team. I don't care how you win. I don't care if it's by a game-winning drive by the New York Jets. I don't care. They have to win this game because I expected this offense, and I've been saying it all offseason, I expect this offense to be a slow, methodical offense that gets into rhythm as the season goes on. And I think that we're going to see another game of this offense, hopefully look a little bit marginally better than week 1, but have some improvement. And I'm expecting this defense to wake the hell up because what we saw in week 1 was pathetic. It's not up to our standard, and it's just not acceptable. And I'm looking at Coach Saleh in this because Jets fans, I'll tell you this, like everyone keeps talking about Saleh sucks, Saleh's on the hot seat. Jets fans are saying the same thing. Okay? It's not like Jets fans are like, yo, what do you mean? Saleh's freaking him, bro. He's like the best coach in the league, yo. Like, no, Jets fans aren't saying that. Okay? So I want to put things in perspective here that even the greatest quarterbacks in the world, they have stinkers. The best defenses in the world, they have stinkers, okay? And the Jets put up a stinker in week 1, okay? And there are people in the chat saying, what's standard? Go watch. Go look what happened the last 2 years, bro. The Jets have a standard on defense, and that's objective. And if you don't want to believe that there's an actual standard and identity that the Jets built on defense the last 2 years, you're lying to yourself. The Jets statistically, objectively, were the top 3 defense in the league the last 2 seasons. That's the standard I'm referring to. I'm not talking about winning standard. I'm talking about just dominant on defense, exposing great quarterbacks. We made the best quarterbacks in the league last year look bad. That's the standard I'm referring to. Okay? So when I look at this Jets team and what they did against the 49ers, it's totally unacceptable. And you know what? Maybe that's exactly what this team need. Maybe this team needed that wake-up call. Like, hey, bro, just because you were elite for the last 2 seasons does not mean we're just going to be elite without actually putting in work. Okay? Maybe like Jermaine Johnson. Absolutely love to hear this. He stood up in the meeting and he held himself accountable. And he said, I did not set the edge. I was not myself. And he took it on himself to take the responsibility of not being able to set the edge in the run game. That's what leaders do. Okay? I think that this defense needed that kind of wake-up call. I expect CJ Mosley to take tone of this team. Quinnen Williams to be the leader that he is. Because Quinnen Williams had an elite play in that game on the first drive and then disappeared. CJ Mosley, Jamie and Sherwood, like the first 2 drives of that game against the 49ers, it was a 3-and-out. The Jets defense was lights out. And then the Jets scored that touchdown. And that's why I was like, oh my God, here we are. Jets defense is still elite and Rodgers is cooking. At that point, I'm like, bro, the league's screwed. And then we go on there and we got cooked. We got worked. Okay? So it's up to this team on defense because I'll be honest with you guys. Like, I'm not worried about this defense, but I am worried about this team kind of like losing themselves and in the early part of the season because there's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of anxiety around this football team from the outside world. There's a lot of pressure that like the media and fans are putting onto this team. And I really hope that this Jets team, and it starts with coach, does not allow that to infiltrate the building. And it really hasn't infiltrated it yet, but it will because this is the New York Jets. This is a team that is part of the biggest city in the world. And I know you can make the jokes, oh, but they play in New Jersey. Haha, they're still representing the largest city, the largest media market on the planet, and that's the New York market. I live in this market. I'm a Knicks fan. I know what it's like. Knicks for clicks. The Jets are talked about even when we suck. That's how I built Jets media to where it is with 5 straight losing seasons, by the way. Okay? So the Jets got humbled. The defense got humbled. And now it's up for them to live up to that defensive standard and for Aaron Rodgers to lead this team to victory. And I expect a win, and I expect to come out of that game by saying we were the better football team and we got the dub, okay? So that's the reality of the situation. That's how I'm looking at it. That's how Jets fans' expectations should be because if we don't win this game, then we really put ourselves in a hole. Now, luckily for the Jets, there's a lot of winnable games on the schedule, but the one thing that's not good for us is the timing of these games. We have 3 games in 10 days to start off the season. That's not in our favor. But good teams cannot allow that to be the reason why we lose. There's no excuse. The NFL did not do us any favor from the schedule in terms of the timing of these games, but the matchups are in our favor, and that's what we have to take advantage of. So that's the reality of the game, and I want this football team to go out there and play angry, and that's what I expect them to do.
Respect, man.
So the New York Jets and the Tennessee Titans going down to Nashville, and their home game is right around the corner. So I did allude to this at the beginning of the show. Don't sleep on this Tennessee Titans defense. Really don't. I could see a world where you really need to leverage Breece Hall, your run game, and some of those other secondary weapons, like, say, Lazard, for example, maybe Mike Williams, maybe Malachi Corley. Because I have a feeling when it comes to the matchup, I think L'Jarius Sneed is going to be on Garrett Wilson like white on rice. I think that he is virtually going to take Garrett Wilson completely out of the game. So luckily for the Jets, they do have a bunch of other answers. They could really hammer the ball down with Breece Hall very well. Have a decent pass rush over in Tennessee, obviously with Jeffrey Simmons. But as far as the offensive line is concerned, you're not going up against a San Francisco 49ers pass rush. Where the Titans actually flourish is going to be the secondary by itself. What the Jets have to do is just run the football, long sustained drives, and just let Will Levis play football. That's key number 2. Let Will Levis play football. He's going to mess up. He's going to put something out there. I don't trust him, even with all of these weapons and Calvin Ridley and DeAndre Hopkins. Even if they gain some sort of separation, Will Levis is eventually going to lay an egg. And I think that the Jets by itself are going to take advantage of that. I do see it being low scoring. I'm not aware of the over-under, but I really like the under in this game.
41.
41, absolutely. Love the under here. So at the end of the day, I think that the Jets do come out. I think that it's going to be like a heart attack at first. And I do think that they will start off, I'd say the first quarter pretty slow. And then even a turnover, to be honest with you as well. I'm not sure if it's going to be a fumble or an interception, but like I said, this Tennessee Titans defense is a bunch of ball hawks. But I do see the Jets end up catching steam when it matters most, maybe second half, and coming out with the victory. Give me 24 Jets. Give me 10 Titans.
24-10. I take it. Please.
24-10.
Interesting.
Flag.
All right, so me?
Yeah.
You can go.
I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I'm actually nervous for the Jets. They should win this game, but y'all can lose this game. The Tennessee Titans are loaded, Richie. They just got a quarterback that need to take another level. And at some point, he might start picking it up if they just unleash him and stop trying to put clamps on him. We saw it last year whenever they came back and beat Miami, how he executed. The problem y'all have in this game is the Titans defense. They legitimate. The way I saw y'all play, they could. I ain't gonna call them better than y'all because I know how y'all play is not a reflection of y'all, but they defense is legitimate. A lot of people don't get that. The Tennessee defense is real. They got a squad over there on the defensive side of the ball. Their true issue is whether they could put up enough points. Don't forget, they lost to the Bears 24-17, but they jumped out 17-zip over the Bears. It was Will Levis's turnovers why the Bears were able to come back. His consecutive turnovers. The Titans got a team, and they are not to be played with. They remind me of the Patriots. With the better offense, maybe, slightly. Huh?
We better.
Well, maybe, man, but they remind me of y'all. But I'm just gonna say this. I got the Jets in this game. I got Aaron Rodgers in the offense, figuring out a way to be better. And I got your defense, holding the Titans down the right way to where y'all offense can start to figure it out. Your defense needs to show up this weekend because we're not talking about the San Francisco 49ers in that run game and that O-line and them weapons. It is not the same, especially with a few injuries on the Tennessee Titans offense. So the Jets are going to win this game, but boy, oh boy, if y'all lose, Richie, I'm sorry. I know it's only week 2, but it is over. It is over. If y'all lose this game, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Christmas came early for me. But y'all will win. Y'all will win. Because I'm telling you, you lose this game, I'm picking the Patriots next week. Lose this game, you want to. And then the Patriots beat y'all start 0-3. You're going to be doing mock drafts for real. And it's a possibility, man. Y'all should be nervous, Jets fans. Man, it's a good test. We'll see.
Did you have a score prediction there?
Didn't I give it? No.
What was it?
All right. No, I must be didn't. I'm gonna go with the Jets getting 24. I'm gonna say y'all gonna have a good day, man. 24 in Tennessee getting 16.
All right. I feel like you guys hit upon this pretty perfectly. I feel like I don't have too much to say. That Tennessee Titans defense, like you guys alluded to, they're good. I mean, they're not necessarily they're not necessarily putting up huge plays or anything like that. They had 2 sacks and a forced fumble, but it's what they're able to do. They're able to get the pass rush. They're able to lock down in the secondary. They definitely have a good defense. That's definitely going to continue to test the Jets here. But I think the Jets, they're definitely going to be motivated. I think that I do think that the Jets have a much better defense than Chicago does, and I think that's going to be a lot harder on Will Levis there. So I really don't feel like there's too much to say. Obviously, I think the biggest thing they have to worry about is the Tennessee Titans' ability to run the ball. Like you guys alluded to, Tony Pollard, 16 attempts, 82 yards. He averaged 5.1 yards on the ground. Will Levis also a mobile quarterback. I mean, this is a guy that can get outside the pocket, definitely extend some plays. That's something that the Jets are going to have to put some respect on. Brock Purdy's a guy who's more of a pure pocket passer. He's really not somebody who scrambles all that much. So it is going to be a different style of quarterback that they are going to have to keep in mind in this game. I mean, he was averaging 9 yards on average on the ground. I mean, Will Levis here, 4 attempts, 36 total yards. Tajay Spears, the second-year running back, 4 attempts, 21 yards, averaging 5.3 yards on average. Obviously, one of the biggest reasons that the Jets lost against the 49ers was their inability to stop the run. If that's something that's going to again happen here, and if Will Levis can just play a clean game, then I think that the Titans could potentially win this game. But I do think that the Jets defense is able to bounce back. They're able to force Will Levis to turn the ball over a couple of times there. I do think that they'll be much better in stopping the run. I think that's going to be a big emphasis for them in this game. I actually wrote this score down when we started talking about this, and we all kind of are on the same kind of wavelength here, but I have the Jets winning this game 24-13.
You guys all better be freaking right, okay? All picking the freaking Jets to win. Damn it. Someone pick us to lose, please. Damn. You guys better be right, bro.
24-13, folks.
We'll be right.
Folks, please do us a favor, smash that like button as we move on.
Can we get to 1,000 likes? Is that too much to ask, bro?
You lose this week, you don't got to worry about getting picked no more.
I think we have to do it. Well, folks, now we're moving on to everybody's favorite time of the year, where TD and I preview the Buffalo Bills and the Miami Dolphins game coming up tomorrow evening. All right? Very excited about this. And I will tell this, and so I will say this. Both TD and I, we live stream our game time reaction to this game. Okay, so if you really want to tune into a show between my show and TD Finn's Talk Show, highly recommend that you tune on in. Both of our channels and all of these guys' channels are in the description.
And back and forth.
Feel free to troll them as well when they end up going out ahead and reacting to their favorite games. It's going to be a damn movie. I could start off by doing a preview, and I could start off by giving TD a preview, but I'll tell you what, I want to start off with the damn panelists right now. I want to talk to Richie. I want to talk to Colby before TD and I end up diving in to our prediction. So,
Richie, I'm gonna let you go first on this one. Yeah, let's get Richie's opinion here.
Give us your analysis on the Buffalo Bills versus the.
Don't be a hater, bro.
Why you telling me stop being a hater, bro?
Like, I'm just saying, man. Be honest. Don't be a hater. You know, be honest.
I'm an honest folk, man. I speak how I feel. And if it comes off as hater, that's on you. So, someone's asking Jonathan, when are the fans going to join? So, folks, we're getting into the main event right now, which is previewing tomorrow night's game. And then we're going to open it up for the Patreon, okay? That's how it's going to go. Listen, man. This is a big game. Now, I do got to tell you guys just something personally real quick. I won't even be able to watch this game, which I'm a little disappointed about, but it's all good. I purchased tickets to a concert like 8 months ago with my dad at Madison Square Garden on the floor.
Hey.
And I'll be watching though from my phone and I'll still be watching, of course. But
who is it, Rich?
Hans Zimmer. It's the guy who made the music for Dune and all Interstellar and Inception.
Like one of those like band things, like where they play like the soundtrack and you watch the movie. That's dope, dude.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah, me and my dad have been waiting for this for years, and he's doing a tour, and we bought these tickets 8 months ago. And then when I saw it was going to be Thursday Night Football, I was worried it was going to be a Jets game. Luckily, wasn't the case. But that doesn't matter. I think that this is going to be a game that I believe all the pressure is on the Miami Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins this is their game. This is the Miami Dolphins' chance, bro. The Miami Dolphins' opportunity to like claim the division. Now, whoever wins this game is not winning the division. I think, if the Dolphins win, they're going to say they win the division. If the Bills win, they're going to say they're going to win the division. That's not the case. Just saying. But if the Miami Dolphins really want to kind of like get the monkey off their back of Josh Allen being 11-2 on them, and the Buffalo Bills owning the Miami Dolphins since Josh Allen entered the league, this is their chance to do it. Okay, this is Thursday Night Football. The whole world's watching. It's a dynamic battle. It's a rivalry for sure. It's a reminder of what happened last year of the Miami Dolphins leading the division all all season just for those damn Bills to come back and snatch it from you guys. Like, if you're the Dolphins, bro, you have to win this game. You have to, bro. This is one of the biggest. I know it's just week 2, but this is one of those games where if you want to be able to make a statement early on, it's right now. It's tomorrow night. And I expect the Miami Dolphins to be on their P's and Q's. I know that Raheem Mostert being out hurts. I know A-Chain being a game time decision hurts, but I really don't think that's going to hurt the whole system of that team. Just like we saw Mason go out there and replace McCaffrey, have a dynamic game, I think Jalen Wright, I loved him out of college. I think he's going to be out there, and you're not going to be missing Mostert. You're not going to be missing A-Chain. Jeff Wilson's also a pretty good running back. The system is great, and I think that the system is going to be good. The big question I have is Tua going to step up in the moment? Is Tua going to be that guy? I'm not talking about throwing like little floaters up to Tyreek and Tyreek running for 70 yards down the sideline. That's going to happen. I'm talking about, can you lead that football team down the field and make the big-time throws? When the pressure gets there, can you get off your read? I mean, I heard TD Finstock give me like an 8-minute speech of how Tua finally can go through his reads in year 6. I mean, year 5, sorry. So we have a 5-year development. After getting paid, he finally learned how to read the field. I want to see that. I mean, TD told me that he can read the defense now. He goes through his reads. I want to see that. Okay? That's from TDs. That's from TDs right there. So I want to see what Tua looks like. When it comes to Josh Allen, the Buffalo Bills, this is their chance to reclaim this division and let them know that they ain't going nowhere. So the storylines are there, but I just have to finish off with this. I'm just going to go off of what history tells me. The Buffalo Bills have owned the Miami Dolphins.
Cop it out, man.
And I think that they're going to do the same thing again. I see this being a close game. I see it go all the way down to the wire. I see the Buffalo Bills losing in the fourth quarter, and I see Josh Allen leading the team back on a game-winning drive, a last minute, down by 4 points, and he scores a touchdown with his damn legs.
Yep.
With no seconds to spare, and the Buffalo Bills win the game. I think Tua is going to play good. I think the offense is going to go do nice. I think this is going to be an offensive game. I'm taking the over on this game. I think it's going to be back and forth, and I think I see the Buffalo Bills winning in comeback fashion, 35-32.
Crazy.
I love it. Colby, what you got on this game, man?
Look, I'm going to keep this extra long. I'm going to keep this extra long for the people in the comment section who are complaining. Extra long for you guys who did this to yourselves. Look, I have so much respect for the Bills and the Bills fan base. I feel like y'all are, next to the Patriots, probably the most respectful fan base in the AFC East. I have nothing but love for you guys. I think this is going to be a true test. This is going to be a true test for the Buffalo Bills and specifically Josh Allen. I think if Josh Allen plays good in this game, and I think that if they end up winning this game, it's exactly what I alluded to before the season started. And that's the fact that Josh Allen is going to be in the running for MVP. And I think we're going to look back at the end of the season, if he does end up winning MVP, and saying, this is one of the games. This is the game that really started the conversation for Josh Allen to win. Because here's the thing, Dan, like I told you, I don't really believe in that Buffalo Bills defense, at least to start. Y'all had a lot of pieces taken away from you, especially veterans. Y'all let up 28 points. You guys let up 28 points to the Arizona Cardinals, and I think they have a respectful team. And I told you that. But the Arizona Cardinals aren't like one of the best offenses in the league, and I think you are facing a much, much different monster here with Tua and Waddle and Tyreek. And it is going to be a true test for your defense. It's going to be put up or shut up time. And if you guys can really shut them up, then you guys officially have put respect on that defense. I think that, Gregory Rousseau, he could have a really good game. I think the Miami Dolphins offensive line could struggle here. But at the end of the day, I don't know if I trust that secondary for you guys. And I think you're going to fall up a little bit short here, especially playing in Miami. I think that it is a different monster. And I hate to take the Dolphins here, man. I hate to take the Dolphins. I think that y'all are going to get them later on. I think that, like I said, the Bills are going to get better as the season progresses. I think you guys are going to have some struggles early on, offensively, maybe defensively. And you're also going up against a much better defense. You have to keep that in mind. Do I think that the Dolphins are a top 5, a top 10 defense in the league? No, I don't think they are. But you also went up against arguably the worst, if not one of the worst defenses with the Arizona Cardinals last week. And it really did come down to the wire. I mean, it was a 6-point game between you and the Arizona Cardinals. So at the end of the day, for me in this matchup, like I said, I think you guys will be better. I don't think that this is a statement on your guys' team. I still have the Bills winning the division. But in this game specifically, I have to go with the Miami Dolphins. I'm going 31-24.
Let's go. Let's go.
Oh, man, he's hyping himself up. And
don't worry. Know what time it is.
And don't worry, guys. I have a nice little presentation. And so I have a nice little presentation for everybody.
Richie, you hate him.
All right, guys, listen, I have a nice little presentation for everybody to
here we go.
Witness for us. Right here, folks, I am showing you the average points that Josh Allen ends up putting up against the Miami Dolphins during each and every single matchup. He averages about 280 yards, 6.3% completion percentage, 33 total touchdowns, and only 7 interceptions his entire career, where we can compare this right here to Tua's against Josh Allen, where very uncharacteristic, about 207 yards per game on average. And then look at this. This is something that I really want to point out that I think is interesting. Do you notice? This is very uncharacteristic of Tua right here, because he's known for throwing the football a hell of a lot of times. But for the past couple of matchups, the most he's thrown the ball was 25 times. Average 17, 13, 21, what have you. If this Miami Dolphins can efficiently run the football, and the fact that Mostert is not going to be out there, the fact that Devon Achane is not going to be out there, and you have to rely on a rookie, and you also need to rely on Michael Wilson as your running backs, this Buffalo Bills run defense is going to completely eat you alive. Now, some of you might say, oh, Dan, well, what about last week? This Arizona Cardinals team ended up having your number, right? Well, I'll tell you what, James Conner, who ended up finishing in the top 10, top 5 in running backs last year, had 15 attempts and was held to 50 yards by itself. The entire reason why the Buffalo Bills defense looked quote-unquote questionable was simply due to the fact that their leading rusher in Arizona just so happened to be Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray is a mobile quarterback. The Buffalo Bills end up dominating QBs that like to stay inside the pocket, don't really have the ability of being able to extend plays by rolling out. And that's not who we are going to be facing on Thursday evening.
Yes, it is.
We're looking at a defensive end in Gregory Rousseau, who ended up having 3 sacks. Von Miller had 1.5 after the fact. You have Ed Oliver. You also have Daquan Jones. And the Miami Dolphins are going to completely broadcast exactly what they're going to be doing, right? Some of you might think, oh, Dan, what about Tyreek Hill, man? He's going to be somebody that we could really look into. Right over here, this man, since he has been on the Miami Dolphins, his yards have been 33, 69, 58, and 82. And then even with Waddle, who could potentially be a threat onto the outside, 102, 114, 46 last matchup. Although I will be fair, because that dude did end up I do want to say that he was playing through an injury last time. So I will give you that. This Miami Dolphins run team, we know exactly what they are going to do. Okay. They are going to attempt to run a bunch of outside zone runs. They don't run in between the tackles because they simply do not have the size. They got 8 yards in total anytime that they attempted to run the ball north-south all game. This offense is impressive, but it's not impossible to understand what they are doing. Hence why Sean McDermott knows exactly what this team is going to be giving us. This is going to be a game with a lot of screen attempts. So the Buffalo Bills definitely need to make their tackles. I will tell you that. But as far as Tua being able to stretch the field, I don't trust that offensive line. I do not, especially with the matchups. Austin Jackson, Liam Eichenberg, give me an absolute break. You better hope that screen game is absolutely on par, and you can go on ahead and hope that this Buffalo Bills team does end up missing quite a few tackles, which we did last week. We definitely did miss quite a few tackles. So as far as this offense, I'm not so much concerned. I'm really not. We know what they're going to do. A lot of screens, a lot of outside zone runs from inexperienced running backs, and this Buffalo Bills team is about to not only activate Cole Bishop because of his tackling capability, being able to same thing when it comes into Rasul Douglas to Christian Benford on the outside. And that's just how it is. And then when it comes into the Buffalo Bills offense, I mean, come on. Like, I have said this, I have joked around so many times where I say, I have no idea how a Dolphins fan can legitimately look me in the face, all right, and say, oh, man, this Dolphins team is going to kill the Buffalo Bills. I've seen 50-10. I've seen 48-3. I've seen the whole 9. What the Buffalo Bills offense is about to do is not only make TD the saddest man on the face of the planet. Please stock up on your damn calming tea on Thursday evening. This Buffalo Bills team is going to run the ball down the Miami Dolphins' throat. All right. You had 128 yards allowed. This Jacksonville Jaguars team ran the ball at will. The Buffalo Bills are about to do the exact same thing. And guess what? We also have a mobile quarterback who, again, averages 70-plus yards on average. It's impossible to plan against this Buffalo Bills offense, which is proven on week 1, because you have no idea who we are throwing the ball to. Our top 2 weapons last week weren't even utilized. Dalton Kincaid, Khalil Shakir weren't even utilized. And what got you was James Cook. What got you was Keon Coleman, by the way. An absolute incredible 50-50 ball. And Jalen Ramsey, I mean, come on. He was getting cooked by a rookie. Rep after rep after rep after rep. Have Jordan Poyer out there. Listen, I have nothing but love for Jordan Poyer, everything that he has done for the Buffalo Bills. But I even heard TD say, come on, Jordan, what the hell are you doing out there? Nothing about this Miami Dolphins defense scares me. Not a single thing about this team scares me. I think this Buffalo Bills team is about to dominate time of possession. We are going to run the ball down their throats. This is going to be a game where James Cook probably, I'd say, goes for about 110 on the ground. I think Ray Davis is also going to be making some moves. I think Dalton Kincaid is going to cook the middle of your linebackers. You have some of the sorriest pass coverage linebackers I have ever seen in my entire life. It is absolutely disgusting. This is going to be death by 1,000 paper cuts. This is going to be a painful experience for the Miami Dolphins. It's going to be closer than I think just because of the time of possession that we are going to have. Buffalo Bills win 28-20.
Great point. By the way, Dan, one thing I do want to say is that I did write this down and I forgot to actually note it, but I did say right there, y'all can see big James Cook game. Big James Cook game, just so y'all know. So.
Dude, listen. So they can't stop the run. 0 pass rush. We had the most efficient offensive line and pass coverage last week during week 1. Listen, I would take the Cardinals defensive line over the Miami Dolphins defensive line.
Ooh.
If they think that they are going to get to Josh Allen at all, who was the least sacked quarterback in the league last year, have you? You're nuts. You're not going to be able to stop it. You're going to need to rely on Tua to win the game for you. And he hasn't done it. He hasn't done it. And a lot of you are like, Dan, why is your smirk back? Dan, why are you so confident? What about the past 13 matchups should suggest that I shouldn't be? It doesn't matter if we're playing in your stadium and our stadium. I call it Josh Allen Stadium because we already know how many Bills fans are going to be there. We already know that this team's coming up. And you know for a fact you shouldn't have gave Josh Allen bulletin board material this offseason saying that he was overrated. Because I promise.
Curiosity.
Go ahead.
Do you know, and you might not, but I'm genuinely curious. Do you know the record between the two teams when you play in Buffalo versus Miami?
So
just out of curiosity.
So the overall record is 13-2.
Overall is 13-2.
So I mean,
that's domination.
Pure domination.
Two losses in Miami, or were they in Buffalo?
They were in Miami, and in Mike McDaniel's era, Tua Tagovailoa is dominant versus
who had an absolute trash game, by the way, and when Josh Allen outplayed him by every single facet of that game.
All right,
but
is it my turn, Dan? Is it my turn?
Is what it is. It's 28-20. And I feel bad for you guys because I know that you're feeling deja vu. I know you're feeling deja vu right now because you have watched this episode 4 years in a row. And this is the 5th. This is the 5th.
You still winning the division, Dan.
No.
You still winning. You still winning.
Listen. It's going to be good for business when we clip TD freaking out on a stream tomorrow night. So this is a win for all of us. This is a win for all of us.
You know what I realized, Dan? Instead of getting mad at you for the Dan Mitchell smirk, it's time for me to have my own smirk. It's with a mug.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, that's going to be the TD smirk.
And so you about to break that across your wall tomorrow night.
Mm-mm. No, I'm not. And here's
Better
why.
not break that roundtable mug. I
Tell
sent
him,
you that,
Mitchell.
TD. I sent you that.
Let me explain
I
to
sent
you
you
why,
that
Dan
mug.
Mitchell.
Roundtablesports.shop.
Let me tell you why, Dan Mitchell. At some point, we all need to be honest with ourselves. Okay? And the Buffalo Bills have dominated the Miami Dolphins year after year after year, and I've been wrong. But this time, the Miami Dolphins are the much greater, superior team. We just are. The offense is better. The defense is better. And it's not even close. It's by far. They want you to believe because they beat the raggedy Arizona Cardinals that they are still the same team. We're talking about the 5-6 win every year Arizona Cardinals, who always beat up on bum teams. First of all, Josh Allen is not this superhero y'all think he is. He just did it on a bum team because he have a skill to use his legs. But he's about to run into an Anthony Weaver-led defense that does have a pass rush with Emmanuel Ogbah, Jalen Phillips, and company. Calais Campbell in the middle being dominant. Zach Zeeler is about to have a field day on the Buffalo Bills. And let's get something straight. The Bills can't run the ball either. Only Josh Allen tries to. And Tua Tagovailoa is about to unlock a whole new level in his game tomorrow night. You are going to see a MVP level Tua Tagovailoa. We don't need Raheem Mostert. H.A. may still play, by the way. We got plenty running backs. But above all, what you really need to pay attention to is the fact that Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle are going to be coming downfield full speed, and Damar Hamlin is going to be out there looking at them. And ladies and gentlemen, the Miami Dolphins are not only going to win this game, but they are actually going to rout the Buffalo Bills. So this record of
oh my god,
this record
like
of
watching a car accident.
This record of
TD, I know you beat the Jaguars, but remember you predicted routing them?
Yeah, but you know what, Richie? The Jaguars are better than the Arizona Cardinals, okay? That's what we determined.
I mean,
I am over this notion that Buffalo owns this division. They've just been getting lucky and fortunate with the other teams in the division's misfortune.
TD, it's a fact. Why can't you just admit
Richie,
it, dude?
they're not a good team anymore.
They've won the division 4 straight
Yes,
years. They own this division until proven otherwise.
With Stephon
You're still upset that you failed to win it last year. Last year was your chance and you blew it.
No, with Stephon Diggs and our injuries.
Bro,
the difference.
it's a legitimate fact that the Buffalo Bills have won the division the last 4 years. Therefore, they've owned the division the last 4 years, and there's no argument.
And well, it's so funny that all y'all gave y'all take on this game, but nobody wanted to talk about the elephant in the room. How soft Josh Allen really is. Around here crying, oh, my wrist, my hand, I need a Band-Aid. It's just a little boo-boo. It's a little boo-boo. He around here crying about his little hand. So he's already building in his very own excuses of why they're going to lose. That's all this is. He knows what to expect versus the Dolphins. And listen, ladies and gentlemen, you can be in the chat all you want saying, I want whatever TD's on. This time is different. We are finally going to get over the hump, and we are going to have a celebratory party tomorrow night, ladies and gentlemen. All y'all welcome. Because we're going to send everybody on my stream. Y'all know we're going to flood Dan Mitchell's stream. Because when he over there cussing at his screen with his shirt off and miserable, we going to come pay you a visit. And we going to check on your well-being, a wellness check. You're the one that's going to need to get checked on, Dan Mitchell. And you know what, Dan? Secretly, the way you've been moving lately, I kind of know you scared yourself. Because you've been in defense. Yeah, you're usually calm and collective, all confident, but you've been in defense mode lately. You've been in defense mode lately. You've been walking around here defending everything. You out here crying mad because Josh Allen didn't win AFC Player of the Week. Yeah, everybody told me about it. You be whining on your streams because Josh Allen didn't win AFC Player of the Week. He's not as good as y'all Bills fans think he is. He's good, but not to the level y'all think. And that's why you'll never win a Super Bowl. And y'all little itty-bitty 4-year reign, it's over starting tomorrow night. I don't even have much to say, man. That's it. I just can't wait for this game. And I'm so ready for it. I've been waiting too many years for this, and it's finally come. Let's do it.
I got to reset my fantasy lineup before tomorrow.
That's right. You better go with Tua.
Oh, I'm not going with Tua. Forget that. I'm going with Tyreek and Waddle.
With that too. Anybody on our roster? Because they about to go. You got DeMar Hamlin on the back end, bro. DeMar Hamlin.
Dan, how do you feel about Trey White, like, kind of balling out week 1 with the Rams? Does that hurt Bills fans, or you got like, nah, like, who cares?
He sucked. What are you talking about?
Yeah, he did not ball out.
He was
Who am I thinking of then?
He was terrible.
Stephon Diggs.
Somebody balled out in the secondary, and I swear it was Trey White.
You
Maybe
talking
I'm
about
thinking of somebody else.
Stephon Diggs is balling out.
Yeah, it wasn't Trey White. That's for sure.
Trey White got cooked.
Somebody balled out then.
Stephon Diggs balled out then, Mitchell.
Who am I thinking of, bro? That's gonna make me mad now. Who am I thinking of?
So at the end of the day, I do enjoy this game each and every single year because I know that it's always going to put a smile on my face. Now, yeah, sure, there's going to be anxiety, but is it because I'm scared of the Dolphins? No, it's just because hearing all these iPad kids in my chat all week. All right. Yeah. All these iPad kids that tell me 50-10, like Miami Dolphins. Nothing on earth makes me happier when all of you little fools crawl into your hole of shame and embarrassment, and I don't see you again until like week 8, like a week before we're supposed to play, or you don't show your head again until we end up dropping against the team that isn't you. But all you need to do is resort to hoping that another team takes us down because you couldn't. My favorite thing on earth is watching you guys get Thanos snapped out of existence for a couple of weeks. It's a beautiful thing, and I cannot wait for it to happen again. Stay tuned. I will be live, and I'm sure I'll be welcoming quite a few of you into the chat tomorrow evening. It's probably when you guys, like, score a field goal or something along those lines. I'm sure you guys will be flexing all over the place after the fact, but it's going to be a hell of a game. I'm looking forward to it. I'm not going to say that we're going to kill you guys. I think it's going to be reasonable, but for that reason alone, 28-20 Buffalo Bills.
All right, respect.
Oh, I didn't get my score prediction, did I?
I think you did. I thought you did. Maybe you didn't. I don't know. Give another one.
What is it?
This is a good one. Right? 2 or 3 touchdowns.
He's never done that in his career.
Field goal. 34 Miami. 24 Bills.
Oh, I said 24 or 31-24, so not far off. I think it's going to be close. It'll come down to like a touchdown.
34-24.
So y'all going to be the first team to beat us more by 6 in 48 games?
Yeah, absolutely.